Here's a visual representation of how the first major of the season's been going so far.
He's pissed. He's actually pissed, dude.
What's up, degenerates? It's the Disc Golf World, recapping everything you need to know from round 3 of Champions Cup. I'm Jefferson, and as always, alongside me, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese. For those of you who've been paying attention this weekend, you would probably know it's been a wild ride, or in other words, a shit show. Honestly though, we should have expected it since this event has been cursed since the news of the beetle infestation that went down to Georgia. Pretty sure they wrote a song about it. Even after that, the tournament had to be rescheduled twice, and then came the rain. It seemed no matter what was planned, Mother Nature had other ideas. The rain would basically change the entire major, causing some pros to play 2 full rounds at Northwoods in one day. I overheard some veterans of the tour talking while waiting on one of the many backups that this would be the most grueling day of disc golf they'd ever competed in. And as they mentioned, they've played in the Nantucket Disc Golf Open and love it. Drew Gibson made this post on Instagram while still finishing his round. This got me thinking if playing multiple rounds in one day is something the Pro Tour should plan for in the future. From the professionals I talked to, it was pretty split. Some felt it was necessary to complete the 4 rounds since it was a major, although there is already precedent with something like this happening. I don't know about you guys, but I never hear the mention of an asterisk on Big Germ's US title. Anymore, at least. The other half of pros felt round 2 should have been canceled entirely for various reasons. That being said, player safety was the biggest of them all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I have the solution to what should have been done. And frankly, I'm actually okay with the decisions made by the PDGA and DGPT. There were only so many hours to make a game plan, and once they did, they stuck with it. Of course, there's going to be complaints about tiredness towards the end of the second round. When it comes down to it, something needed to be done and the decision was made. Although, I do hope some more concrete plans require less on-the-spot thinking and provide more of a guideline on how to handle the situation moving forward. Could you imagine some players finishing their round, or worse, those who nearly finished just for it to be canceled? See, there are plenty of worse decisions that could have been made. I think that's how you avoid the asterisk conversation as well, because then players will know how to play in these types of situations, instead of possibly taking riskier shots thinking they have fewer holes to play or any other unknown reason. An issue that will be solved with time, I'm sure. Well, I hope at least. This is a historical situation that disc golf needs to take notes on to be more prepared for when it happens again. I'm more of an action person instead of praying for the rain to go away. I'd rather see steps that can be put into place, so most importantly, players can stay informed and react for whatever will bring them the best results. I can't imagine being at the biggest tournament of the year and wondering what will happen next. If the sport doesn't take a step back and examine this situation or learn from it, I'll be disappointed. Not nearly as much as players waiting on every hole due to backups without a bench, but still pretty upset. I want to put all my faith in the organizations running this sport, but I'm having a harder and harder time doing that. Let's see if they can surprise me here. At the very least, if there aren't any procedures added about the weather next year, then we better go see the boy Oz about the missing brain. Disc golf needs more procedures and plans to be implemented immediately, so times like this are less chicken running around with its head off and more like that principle we all hated in high school. I know rules suck, but they make life run so much smoother, and when I'm the one saying that, you better pay attention. Just saying, if you want to be more professional, this looks like a great opportunity. And hey, maybe not leave the fans in the dark like the players on round 2. I truly think some of the negative press both the PDGA and DGPT get is because for some reason, they like keeping everyone guessing. Newsflash, if we know the vision, most of us would be okay with the rocky ride. But when we're all clueless, we assume you guys are too. That all said, disc golf looks to me like they're starting to move in a positive direction. Let's just hope they keep improving when they get all this unsolicited feedback.
Beth at 69. I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable.
This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Man, I'm just too tired to try to think of something witty here. Cut me some slack, we've covered 3 rounds today alone, and that was after little to no sleep due to staying up to edit. Just so you guys can get that fix. Now that I got my Gannon wine moment out of me, let's cover some FPO action and make it quick, because we got to get to the MPO already. After Kristen Tatar closed the gap yesterday late, many expected a Tatar cleanup round where she separates from the pack on her way to another major victory. Throw in that nearly the entire attendance was rooting for Tatar, including those male Estonian groupies, with matching fits that have taken over Peoria and the DGN airways by storm. I'm really disappointed here. We can't get 1,000 fans to the course with an entire day of action. I know there's nothing to do in Peoria, But these guys flew halfway across the globe to do nothing also. What's your excuse? Unfortunately for them and the rest, Tatar would start the round as sluggish as the entire day's pace of play. An early birdie on hole 2 would be the only one till hole 12. Squeeze in a double bogey on 7 and she would be over par for the bulk of the round, allowing the darling of the lead card, Rachel Turton, take an early lead with a hot start. A quick turkey after bogeying hole 2 kicked off the Cinderella storyline. Yet, Northwood would be there to strike midnight on her round after a painful stretch. Jefferson hasn't trademarked it yet, so I will continue to use it. A birdogey on hole 8 after 3-putting would send her round into a spiral, adding 2 more bogeys on the next 2 holes to put her over for the round. Credit is deserved as she would battle for most of the remainder of the round for a 1-under and final day lead card at a major for the first time in her career, and battling a future Hall of Famer that she is tied with for a podium finish. Owen Scoggins, who scored a 4-under on the round, climbed into a tie for 3rd place and on to lead card for the first time of the tournament. Owen's experience should be a factor on the final day, but will need help from the 2 above her to have a chance to win. Lucky for the viewers and to the dismay of the Estonian contingent, Evelina Salonen would fill in for the needed excitement. Even scarier is the fact that it should have been even better. Evelina would start her round with a huge birdie to kick off the day, would bogey the next, but erase that with another birdie right after. The scorecard reads as though she cooled off with 5 straight pars, yet 4 of those were due to C1X missed putts, where she missed 5 total on the day. From there, she would have a 6-pack of birdies as she took a commanding lead of the tournament. All but one of the birdies were on holes that averaged above par. Would only face 1 putt outside 15 feet in that stretch, a 30-footer, which she still hit. I know Tatar is the greatest in the game, but Evelina is the greatest off the tee, and the community needs to take notice, and maybe this performance, along with a possible win, might just accomplish that. Led in both C1 and C2 in regulation and strokes tee to green, heading into the final 4 holes with a lead and still plenty of opportunities to score. Unfortunately for Evelina and the joy of the flag-waving Estonians, the remaining scoring would be coming from Tatar and Tatar alone, as Evelina parred out with another C1X 2-putt on the final hole. Tatar would match her 4-under that she scored yesterday by repeating it today, scoring 2 birdies and an eagle on the final 4 holes and closing the gap to only 2 strokes. The 2 look to battle it out on the difficult track, where, let's be honest, anything can still happen, even without the rain in the forecast.
Over on the MPO side, well, I gotta take you back to round 2 to fill you in first. That sounded weird. So does Casey White in first place after the 2nd round. But when the homie's playing well, all you do is say, let's fucking go. Players had to wake up bright and early to get the day going as 6:45 was tee off. Casey started on 3 at 1 down, and after starting hot would slow up before finishing out still on top of the leaderboard. Even managed to separate himself by 3 strokes over Joey Buckets, who put himself in a great position this morning as well. Headed into the day 4 down already. Unfortunately, wasn't able to capitalize too much, ending the day 5 down and in 2nd place. Ezra Robinson, after starting 3 down through 3, decided to represent that Robinson family name and snagged the birdies on 8 and 9. Too bad hole 14 would throw Ezra's legs up with a triple bogey that included the 37-footer he banged. The birdie to follow up wasn't enough to stop the bleeding, as he would finish his day with back-to-back OB drives for a double and single bogey. Then 3 players were tied at 5 under, putting them 6 strokes away from the lead. But remember, it's Northwood, so anything can happen. That's enough for round 2. Most of us were sleeping anyway. Now here's the breakdown from yesterday. Starting the 2nd round of the day, Casey dapped me up before he got it going. Look at that shit. Dude left a mark and all. After that, I knew it was game time. Started off 3 down through 4, but would find trouble as he headed to 9. Followed it up with 2 more bogeys before a birdie on 13. Too bad that couldn't save him from a devastating triple on 14. Not sure if the amount of holes he'd already played was weighing on him at this point, but finished with 2 more bogeys for his worst round of the event at +4. I also want to mention that on hole 8, Casey's fingers split open. Quick thinking, grab the super glue to fix the situation. Hopefully he's all good for the final round. Andrew Presnell will have his first lead going into the final round of the major on his first lead card appearance. After jumping up 14 spots on day 2, putting up a 4-under with a turkey on holes 16, 17, and 18. Used that momentum in his favor, nailing 5 birdies on the front. Would find his 2nd bogey of the round on 10, will play clean from there. Found his groove on 15 and would secure the next 2 as well. Jammed all his C1X putts, going 10 for 10 on the round. It also helps when you lead the field in fairway and scramble percentage. Two fundamental skills needed to play well at Northwood. Presnell has 18 more holes with a stroke lead in the biggest spot of his life. Should be fun. If you have any siblings, you know how badly Ezra wants this win. No, not the bean guy. Although I guess after today's round, he must also want the win just as bad. Who we kidding? Woods golf is just luck. Am I right? Didn't get his round going quite as hot, but got birdies on 3 and 5. Found his first bit of trouble on 6, resulting in a bogey. Would then go on a birdie stretch from holes 8 through 10, snagged 13 to put himself 5 under for the day, and then reached hole 14. Faster than Stan can lose $100, he double bogeyed again. Thankfully got the birdie on the next hole, but everyone knows a band-aid can't fix a double. Ezra finished the day 4 down and 1 back of the lead, heading into Championship Sunday. Joey Bucket started his round off quiet. I typically say slow, but parring at Northwoods is fine. Got his round going on 6 with a birdie, following it up with another. He would find some trouble on 8 for his first bogey, but would get the comeback birdie on 9, putting him 2 under. Buckets would get the easy birdie on 11, snag 13 even after the poor drive. Couldn't stay clean through 14 for another bogey, but what really hurt him was 18. All Buckets needed to do was par 18 and walk away with the stroke lead. Of course, that would not happen. Instead, double bogey. 4 missed C1X putts costed Joey today. He'll need to clean that up if he wants a shot at this. He's had more lead card appearances this year. Let's see if that plays. Nicholas Antela is tired of this second bullshit. I can feel it. And with Tomas on his bag, I'm expecting big things tomorrow. He already proved himself at the Open at Austin. Now it's time to do it on the big stage. Antela put up a 5 under today, and that included 4 bogeys. The good thing is he also put up 9 birdies. If he wants to make a solid run, Nicholas just needs to play clean. I already know he's been thinking of that missed C1X putt on 18, which happened to be his only on the day, I will add. Manifesting the victory for Finland and adding more drip to the wardrobe. Don't think we haven't noticed.
Rick started out looking like a contender after 4 under front 9, tracking those cameras just in time to catch him getting that birdie on 12 after a bogey on 11. And at this point, we might as well name hole 12 after him, because he gets a birdie at least once every time he plays here. Ricky's round would unravel as the backups would be the worst on the later holes. Having to wait caused unforced errors and an even back half. Vinny, who began the round tied with Ricky, finished the round tied with Ricky, with a far less up and down round. Would have 2 bogeys after 2 C1X missed putts for his only blemishes on the round. Vinny certainly has the potential to still get hot, but will need to clean up his putting to do so. Chris Dickerson remains tied with both Ricky and Calvin. With names like that, this card will definitely have the larger gallery and the lead, as many hope for one of the 4 to catch a spark. Dickerson had a costly double bogey on 14 to wipe out his 2 under effort to that point. It was able to get a late birdie to tie at 6 under. These rounds and conditions could be adding up for Chris, who is dealing with hip issues that we all know about, but it's still difficult to count Chris out on any wooded track. AB's still hanging around to stroke off that gauntlet on the chase card. AB put together his best round with a 3 under today. We'll need to put together an even better round to move above those names ahead of him and the others on the lead. But if there's anyone who has shown that potential this year, it's been AB.
Now for some round 3 quick hitters. Simon made sure to check in and watch Casey this morning. What a good friend. Corbin Michilski with the ace on 1 to get his round started. Fortunately, missed the cut by 1 stroke. At least Brody's excited about it. Presnell taking in every moment of him being featured on DGN. Paul Krantz with the most I don't care putt. Austin Turner out here making friends with the wildlife. Parker Welk tells Silas to record him while he proves he's the disc goat. I wish that translated to the rest of the putts. Rebecca Cox chilling out in the tree. Joel Freeman shot +1, but it doesn't even matter. Look how cool this is. Zach Melton predicts a chase card winner. Comment below who you think will take it down tomorrow, and we'll see if it ages well. And that's everything you need to know from round 3 of Champions Cup. Follow the Disc Golf World to not miss out on tomorrow's full tournament breakdown. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the boys while we're on the road. Shout out to each and every one of you disgenerates supporting on Patreon and our members. We couldn't do what we love without you guys, as the tour is 100% funded by the fans. So we appreciate the support.